Okay. Calling to order the Fraser Park Public Utility regular state planning and project meeting for Thursday, July 28th. We are beginning the meeting at 6:04. Let's begin with the flag salute. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call directors. Director Garcia.
Here.
Director Nyman.
Here.
Director Schoenberg.
Present.
Director Kelling. Here. Director Gibson, I'm here. We're all here. Discussion vote on adjusting the agenda if necessary.
Well, I know that we have something on here that we can't do, so item 7, we need to table. We
Okay,
don't have the attorney.
somebody want to make?
So,
that
yeah,
motion?
I move that we table item 7 until a later point. The attorney was not able to make it this evening.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion has been made by Schellenberg and seconded by Nyman. Let's take a vote. Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schellenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly. Aye. Gibson, aye, so 5-0-0, motion carried.
And then we also need to, let's see. And there's definitely some items under the unfinished business that need to be tabled as well. But maybe we should just do those as we go, because some of them we might need a quick. I think just leave them, and if we have a quick mention of something, we can do that. So I guess that's it.
Okay, so we can proceed. Public comments. Does anyone from the public have anything they want to say? Moving on, ad hoc committee reports, project committee.
Okay, so Director Nyman and I met with the state and discussed all of the various items that are happening. There is a, there should be minutes in regard to that in here. So the state update minutes, so you can read those for any questions you might have. We just addressed a whole lot of stuff, so too much to bring up, but one of the highlights on that is that the you know, we're waiting for was it Ness had hooked up the nitrate analyzer, which I think John will probably talk about in his section, but to the SCADA system, so that does show up here now. And I believe in upcoming in August that we'll be able to hopefully stop sending out the nitrate notices once we have an action plan that we give to Jesse Dollywall at the state. So
Well, that's good news.
that was part of that. And I guess that's the biggest deal. And then we're still moving forward on the trying to drill well 7. So that's can come up at a later item point. So I think, can you think of anything else that's a biggie?
Other than that, we're going to be starting potholing and mapping on Monday, and that will be done before, so.
I don't really have a spot. I just gotta fill in wherever there's a, if it's an agenda item.
There is.
Right, there is, so we'll talk about it.
Okay, accounts payable committee.
Director Nyman and I, we met and went over the bills, and we will talk about that further and financials. And Dee will be really happy.
Okay,
Yeah, basically, well, go ahead. No, I'll wait till,
wait till financials or,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll wait till financial.
okay. Book,
Asset.
book asset detail committee, which is combined with the budget committee.
Right, so we voted, I believe, to combine that last time, and we didn't, I don't think we gave it an actual name, but Deborah came up with financial, or Becky came up with financial ad hoc. So I think that we just need a blessing from the board to move forward with that, which is the combination of the book assets and the budget. We did meet with our auditor, Scott, and discussed kind of some ways of moving forward to just make sure that we set up our books correctly in order to be able to make the changes that we need to make. We had found, on doing the budget, we had found a number of items that were miscategorized, misclassified, I guess is the best way to say it. Deborah can talk more if she has anything on the financials, but basically, we're moving forward. We're kind of simultaneously, which is why we needed to combine the two committees. We're simultaneously going through the budget. And as we go through the budget, we keep finding these items that are incorrect. So a good example of that would be that something's listed as a expense and it needs to be an asset, or something's listed as an asset, but we had voted that anything under $1,000 is not an asset, so it needs to be an expense. So there's just a lot of items that need to get shuffled. Scott kind of gave us an idea of how to move forward on that by both making these lists. And then he's also going to provide us with a table that will help us with some of that, a drop-down table. And so we have tentatively decided that we're going to try to have as much as we can available by the next, by the end of August. So the last day in August, which would put us in being able to report on things in September, at the first meeting in September. So that's projected. We don't know if we'll be able to finish then. It's an awful lot of stuff that we need to do, but we're hoping. We did ask Scott to hold off on the audit. They're basically done. So all he's gonna do is when we give him the information that's changed, he's just going to, hopefully it's not gonna take a lot of extra time, and he'll be able to compare those and then, make the changes. And then he said, probably we have, I mean, we want to get it out as quickly as we can, so we can just get the audit to the state as quickly as we can, but in the meantime, we scheduled a meeting or a lot of Fridays. I have surgery coming up, but we're gonna try to meet tomorrow. And we scheduled a bunch of meetings ahead of time. We're gonna come in here just by ourselves and with Deborah and try to move forward tomorrow. So, because I won't be able to meet potentially for at least a week. So yeah, that's where we're at. And there's just a lot of stuff to do, but we think that it'll be so much more helpful once we kind of slog through all of it.
And the reason we're doing so many meetings and trying to get through this quick is because there is a timetable before. If we don't turn in the audit on time, and he said it probably 6 months, we could start getting nasty notices from the state controller. So he said if we could try to get our changes ready for him in 2 months, that was reasonable. And I
We're
guess-
trying for a month, but it may
Yeah.
not happen. So.
But that's why we scheduled so many meetings, because there was a time crunch.
And we need the budget, which should have been, July, but it'll probably be done by August or September as well.
Okay, treasurer committee,
We didn't meet, we need to go back to the bank, right?
Well, we need to wait till we get we need to wait till we get in the next one and see what they do.
If they still charge us.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting.
And then we also just need to go over for the reserve account.
Right, maybe we can just look at that tonight before we go away.
okay. financial business, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Deborah, you're on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. So we cut checks from 2 accounts this time. 10 checks from the Meter Well Supply Project. 9 of those checks were for a total of $36,901.28 payable to D. Jasper.
Oh, hello.
And this is for claim 3. And then 1 check payable to Young Woldridge for $1,551.50 for claim 3.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or?
Well, I just wanted to make a comment. We did receive the money for claim 3. I went ahead and made the transfers for the staff expenses and for the meeting expenses that we received to our revenue operating account. And we, after balancing everything, we have 47 cents. So the one thing that I wanted to bring up to the board is I was thinking that maybe we should do like in the Lake of the Woods planning account and the meter well replacement account, that maybe we transfer $50 in there as a buffer. Because my concern is that we've had a problem with them taking, the bank's been making mistakes and taking money out. They sometimes will take a $13 charge or whatever, a $25 charge. And if we don't see it, like right now, you know, that account on the meter replacement, after all of these checks clear, you're gonna have 47 cents left in that account. And if they do take a charge, then we're gonna balance.
$1.
You would have to return it, but it might make it simpler for you.
Director Schoenberg?
I just have a quick question. Did we transfer, so initially I moved in $100 to the pipeline and $100 to the meter well new accounts? Did we transfer
Well,
that?
that all got transferred back
That
when the
got
bank,
transferred back,
when
okay.
the bank
Was
returned.
taking. was
Yeah, they
making
returned
mistakes
that
already.
one fee and then we transferred that
Okay,
money.
so I'd like to move that we transfer, let's see, mostly they've been making like $35 mistakes and stuff, so I guess, yeah, that we transfer $100 into each of those accounts just to cover things while we're making payments.
I think it
You
only
think
needs to
that's
be
gonna be
50.
enough?
I think 50 would be enough.
I think 100.
Well, 100 in case they do, and then we don't have to.
They've double charged the
Yeah.
accounts before. Accidentally.
It doesn't hurt for $100 to sit in there. That's what, you know.
No,
So I'll second that.
Okay. Schoenberg has made the motion. Nyman has seconded it. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
I,
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
aye.
Gibson, aye, 500. And so what about our accounts payable? Does anybody have any more questions or comments about that?
I think Deborah did
I
finish.
need to cover the revenue operating disbursements. Okay, out of revenue operating, we cut 9 checks for a total of $16,469.02. And we voided 1 check. The extraordinary disbursement was for JPIA. This was our property insurance, $7,835. And I believe there was correspondence in there about a premium hike.
15%.
15%.
And the other extraordinary disbursement was to Farm Pump. for $4,732.87. And that was for work on Pine Tank #1, charged to distribution.
And what do they need to do on that?
Booster.
Okay. I would make a motion that we pay our bills.
I'll second that.
Okay. Director Nyman has made a motion. Director Kelly has seconded it. Roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schillinger,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, I, 500. Discussion vote on Prop 218 follow-up.
I just have one question before we move on.
Oh.
The voided check, do we have a number on that somewhere?
The last one,
Oh, I'm sure it was.
The voided check should be on page 3 of your check detail. It was check 15332 on the operating. It was a check that should
It should have been coming out of.
been coming out of the well.
It was a Young Woolbridge one, 15.
Oh, I see. I see the void. I just,
Yeah,
did- my mistake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll
That was my mistake.
go on to the
Sure,
next
Director
item. Just to let everybody know, I also made the update for the our long-term, what is it,
CIP,
our CIP account.
capital improvement.
Yeah, our capital improvement account. Thank you. My brain was not working. I increased that to a monthly of $30,000. So
Which we had voted on.
that we
so-
voted on last time. So that's already been. done.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, good deal. So discussion vote on Prop 218 follow-up. Who has information? on
I
that?
snuck that under that, yeah. So I did put together a new updated list of rates and fees that will be for August 1st. I didn't know if you had to vote on it because technically you already voted on the rates and fees.
I
But I wrote
believe
it down.
we voted on it as part of the rate
Yeah. it's part of the
increase,
rate
so we
study.
wouldn't need to vote it again.
Okay. And then my only other question on the.
Nothing
218
changed outside of the rate study, right? Just
Well,
came
the rates and
directly-
the fees.
Well, the fees changed.
Yeah,
No, but
but they're the
this
same.
came directly out of the rate study though.
Yeah,
I didn't change any numbers except what came out of the rate study.
Right.
And it got so
Correct.
big, I had to make it 2 pages instead of 1 page. The best formatting.
Yeah, so as long as we voted on it when we did the resolution to move forward with the rate
With the
study, then this would be a part of that.
Great, so it is going out to our customers after this meeting or?
No, it's just for our front desk purposes, our own purposes. It goes on our website. We
Okay.
have it all in one place. And then are we going to have to send, and I believe we are, before the January increase, we would have to send a letter out to customers because
Yeah,
I think the August 1st is all covered in that Prop 218 letters. But because the next increase is January 1st, we'll have to do a letter by
November, December, right?
November.
November.
yeah.
I would
Yeah,
think
isn't
60
it
days would be
60
good.
days? I think it is.
I think that's what they usually do for other utilities. I don't know legally, I don't know what it is.
I think there is something. We should just look up what the requirement is. I
So
think
maybe
there
if
is
it's
a
60 days,
requirement.
so by the end of October.
yeah. One.
Okay. We have tabled the closed session. So are we through with Deborah?
Is there any-
I believe so. Deborah, did you want to mention anything outside of what I said on the, or what, actually what both I said and Director Gibson said in regards to the financial? Oh, we didn't agree that it could be the financial ad hoc, so I don't know if we can do that here under
It's on here.
finances.
It's on here. It's an item.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, 16.
Huh, never mind. No, that's the project ad hoc. I'm talking about the one that we already voted on. So I think we can vote on that now. Can we I think,
I'll make a motion,
I need to-
I'll make a motion that we combine the budget.
we already combined them, just the name,
We just need to
changing it
change.
to the financial ad hoc.
Oh, I make a motion that we change the budget ad hoc and the
Book asset.
book asset to financial ad hoc, but to change the name to financial ad hoc.
And the members would remain the same.
And our members will remain the same, Lisa and Director Gibson.
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Nyman has made a motion, Director Garcia has seconded. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schonberg,
Abstain?
Director Kelling,
Aye.
and Gibson's abstaining, so it's 3-0, 2 abstentions.
Mhm.
Okay. But now you could go, Deborah.
Bye, Deborah.
Okay. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you tomorrow.
Unfinished business, discussion vote update on FPLOW consolidation planning project. A discussion vote on the project timeline. I think we have a copy of that in our folder. So is that D?
Yeah, that would be D.
You're on D.
If I can unmute myself here.
Yeah, I don't see the sphere. Oh, yeah, I do. Never mind.
Sphere of influence map was due in January of this year.
Right, but you have it till August, so that's the end of August, because I don't think we're gonna have it done at the beginning.
That's a Monday.
Right,
Well, it's August, so it doesn't give us.
So,
a
yeah,
date.
so I think that's
Doesn't
fine.
matter.
I think once we meet and take a look at the Forest Service boundaries and the lands that are around the districts, both districts, then I think it'll pretty well fall out of that, I think, pretty quickly. So I think maybe 1 or 2 meetings and we should have that wrapped up. Map is done. I sent you, I think, copies of the Forest Service boundary with respect to the district. And so that's ready to go once we can meet and decide where we want to put the sphere of influence.
No, I never saw anything back, D, on, I thought we had talked about meeting next Thursday in the morning.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, because I have surgery I wasn't anticipating having surgery.
Yeah, I'm good for Tuesday or Wednesday.
This coming week, I won't be able to probably do either one of those.
We might have to push it out a week, D,
Okay.
because, oh, I don't know when you want to do it. Maybe the following Thursday, or we could do it.
Yeah, we don't wanna do it on a meeting day. if
Okay, or
can
we
help
could do it on Wednesday, the 10th of August.
That looks good to me.
What time would you guys want to do it on a Wednesday? Is that okay, Director Schoenberg? And Joan? That would be.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I work around your schedule. You just let me know when.
I'd like to do it somewhat in the morning, maybe at 9 at the district office. That's, I think my brain is working better at 9 in the morning than it is later in the day. So that'd be my preference, but again, I'm just one.
I'm good with that. If that's Wednesday, August 10th, I have something, but I will reschedule that. So I can do hopefully 9 on Wednesday, the 10th. Now, I do have one question though. Is that gonna run into the book? I mean, that's that same week that you two need to meet with Deborah?
It doesn't matter, I mean,
We'll do it on Tuesday.
we'll either do it on Tuesday or we could do it later that day, I don't care. We could do it, 11 or something like that, I mean, I don't think it's gonna take more than 2 hours to do this meeting.
Okay, so the 10th, D at 9 AM?
Yes, I think so. I've got a meeting sometime in there that I don't have calendared for some reason. Let's schedule it for the 10th. And if I got to look and,
Can you let us know ahead of time? Because I don't want to cancel this other appointment unless I have to.
okay, yeah, I'll follow up on that tomorrow. That's crazy. I don't have that week calendar.
Yeah, because I had that we were meeting on Monday, the 1st, before that. I mean, it's possible we could meet the 4th also if I'm up to it. You said Thursday you were available?
Thursday the 4th should be okay with me too.
Thursday is fine as long as it's the morning.
Let's do Thursday instead in the morning.
Okay,
And hopefully I'll be up to it. If not, I'll meet with you over the phone or Zoom or something. So, but that should be fine. We
okay.
don't have a meeting that day.
Okay,
Thursday, August 4th
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock. Great, okay.
okay, discussion vote on a new budget
Oh,
adjustment.
wait, are we
I have-
wait, are we done with, okay with all these other
No,
dates?
I have something else I'd like to,
Oh, okay,
so on the timeline, I would like to see a category. I know that's not what we had before, but another column that says whether something's completed.
It's my work now.
Oh, okay. Can we add a column to say completed?
Oh, yeah.
Because like the plans and specs, they're completed, just so, because sometimes we have dates, but we miss the date. So I'd like to see the stuff that's absolutely completed.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the hydraulic
Right.
report.
okay. Any more questions about the project timeline?
Okay, who is going to, Tiffany, are you gonna modify that form, or do you want me to, or what?
I have a Word doc. The one they're looking at is my Word, so I don't mind putting in another column.
Great, that'd be good.
And
Thank
then I'll send it to you, Alta.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then
Thank
we need to modify 3, the engineering report draft report. I don't believe we've gotten that yet. That was July 2022.
Oh, that's the engineering report for the project won't be done for a while.
I know, but this is the draft.
Yeah, for a while. It'll be a while before we get that together. Probably sometime towards the end of the year is what I'm guessing.
So do we want to change that to like November 2022?
Yeah, at least that far. We have to decide, we have to actually put a correct our feasibility level planning, and then do an analysis of the project cost and all of that. So that's a fair amount of work right there. And we don't have
So
to decide yet.
that also changes under item 3, the final report with cost, which you have December. I'm sure that's much forward and probably needs to be after the CEQA documents.
Yep. Yeah, we have to do the, my goodness, let me see here.
Or maybe not after CEQA, because you have those as 2023, but it definitely is going to move way forward if the draft is November.
Yeah, it'll move forward with the draft engineering report. So once we get the draft engineering report out, then Tom can do the CEQA documents.
Right, but what do you want the final report with cost to be?
24.
No, that's way too.
December 2022, probably March 2023.
Then shouldn't we move the sequel up?
Yeah, should move it as well. So that should be,
And the biologicals?
Yep.
Because those are really late. December 2023 is really late. Don't you want those right after, like at the beginning of 2023?
no, we're talking about item 4, the environmental documents that are due in December 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the environmentals you need before the final report with cost of the engineering report, correct? Or no,
Well-
because the documents have to be part of that, so.
Actually, we have to have the draft design done before we can do the CEQA. So we've got to get that done, and then the costs will follow, they will follow the design. So, really the CEQA we need to have plans done in order for the CEQA to be done. Well site selected, booster pumping plant selected, top pipe alignments selected. Quite a bit of work right there in order to get that to that level. So, I think the CEQA documents are going to have to move the same way the engineering report documents do. If we move them 3 months, then the CEQA document should move 3 months as well. So that would be a March 2024.
that's a year.
Yeah. Well,
That's really far out because you have the final plans and specs in April 2024 and the application in June 2024.
yeah. Well, the draft engineering report is going to be likely right around March 2023 because there's a lot of work that has to be done.
Well, I thought you just moved the draft to November, Dee.
Now, I moved the draft engineering report to March 2023.
The final of the, no, you moved the
Final
final
engineering.
report to March 2023.
Yeah.
But I'm confused.
So what
I'm
I
very
would say is we need to look at this again and bring it to the next meeting. Because I think all of this needs to be revised, quite a bit needs to be revised from 3, 4, and 5. Because, and I don't think we should keep revising it too far forward because we're already at 2024 and this project has been going how many years now?
I think funding ends, you can ask Carlos, funding ends in 2024.
Yeah, our funding timeline ends in 2024.
Well,
Carlos, do you have the date of our end of funding?
I probably have the FA in front of me. We're going to have to revise the funding agreement. Of course, there's going to be more costs in order to get all of this done. We've got to have well sites selected. We have to have booster pumping sites selected. We have to have quite a bit of engineering work done and sites locked up in order to get to that point. I think let me work through this a little bit. I'll work through it with staff and also with Tom Dodson and just try to put a little bit more thought to it than I'm able to give you right now. But I do know that we need to move it forward. I can't tell you exactly how many months right now.
Yeah, 'cause the final-
Okay, Carlos, can you give us the date of end of funding?
December 31, 2024.
Carlos, are you?
Never
hearing
mind,
us?
we have it. It's December 31st, 2024.
What is it?
December 31st, 2024.
Last day of the year.
Where do you see that?
It's on the-
Final disbursement date is page,
If you look on the disbursements for claim 20 or whatever it is.
This one in your packet.
It's right here in your packet. It says right at the very,
Oh, okay.
Second to
first
last
page.
page.
oh,
That
yeah.
report. Where Lawrence Sanchez and Eric Gonzalo have their name. And it's a yellow page on like this.
It's a yellow,
Okay.
and
Second to
under
the
8.
last.
It's, yeah, the second page of the yellow, it says file disbursement date down at the bottom, December 31st, 2024. This page, one of the yellow, not the ones that you have here. Or maybe this one too. No,
Okay.
this is a different project. So, yeah, on the inside your packet.
Okay, okay, fine.
So, I mean, we definitely need to, that's really cut it close, right?
Yeah.
Well, when the whole thing is built on getting test wells done, getting sites locked up, and I don't know how many months, a year, or maybe even a year and a half, trying to get these 2 sites drilled because we were delayed from SEA. And we can't, we'll compress it as much as we can, but my goodness, we've had delays, trying to get places to drill. And all of a sudden, finally, we get them drilled. And now we have to push everything ahead. And we're trying to do that, but I couldn't tell you how much we've got to push it right now tonight. But we have had significant delays in procuring property. And if we don't move ahead with procuring these well sites, we'll have further delays.
Is there any way we could consider extending the final disbursement date? Is there,
Sure.
did we ask Lawrence Sanchez about that? Is that
Yeah,
something
Well,
should
we
be
can
doing
talk
now?
about it at the next state update meeting.
Okay,
But that requires some doing as well, so we just kind of need to potentially tell him though that we may not, we may not be ready for that deadline. In the past, what happened is we had problems. The pre-planning ended and we weren't able to pay some things. So that's why we have some additional issues here, because we didn't get any of the LAFCO stuff done in the pre-planning because we ran out of time.
The only good thing about this is that since we do have basically almost 2 years, even if it takes us 6 months to get the revised thing, as long as we start working on it now, we should be
Right,
fine, because we have
Right.
plenty of time.
Yeah, we didn't-
We had the limited time.
right.
I think probably the best thing for me to do is to relook at this and put some dates on here that we've considered, with a little bit of thought, more than what I'm giving it right now. And then we can get together and just see how all of this can come
Maybe
together.
we can talk this through the same day we meet for the SOI. So-
I think we need a separate meeting in order to do that.
Okay. But you could meet with the ad hoc to talk it through, and then we could bring that to the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to schedule that meeting now? Let him think about it. How's it going?
I'm good with following up the next week. So, during the week of August, maybe August 10th might be a good time.
But you said you have a potential meeting that day, so
Yeah,
do you want to look and find out when your meeting is, and then we
Why don't you let
can
us know?
schedule on the 4th?
yeah.
So we only need to schedule with the ad hoc.
We'll try and make it during that week. Again, I don't know. I for some reason, my calendar is not coming up. I'm giving you the date.
Okay, so let's just try to schedule on the 4th. That way, if there's any other issues, we can meet about that as well. I know we're gonna need to potentially meet about another issue. So, which is the well 8, so that might be good that week.
Okay. The SOI meeting on the 4th, 9 o'clock, we're good?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good. All right, got that.
Okay, is there anything else on the project timeline?
I think we can move on until Dee takes a
Okay.
look at it.
Discussion vote on a new budget adjustment request.
I believe we don't have any budget adjustment requests right now, right, Carlos? That's just on here. We can move
Well,
forward.
we were gonna discuss about how to move 64,000 around.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think we
Oh,
were
yeah.
gonna meet around.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that. So on the state update meeting, one of the things we talked about was that we have money left over in the test well budget, and we have a shortage of money in some of the other budgets. And so Lawrence said that it was pretty simple to move things around as we need that. Do we need to actually, let me find our budget. I think we need to make a formal vote on that, and then we need to send a letter to Lawrence requesting the change. So I think there were a couple things, Dee, that you were checking on before we could do that. Did you have time to check on those?
Remind me?
Yeah, I know, I had forgotten as well. So on our budget, we had leftover of, this is always so hard for me to read because it doesn't show that. We had a leftover of like 60,000, but it doesn't show it. It doesn't show it here. Are you able to pull up? Let me see. Does it show it here?
It should show it on that Excel sheet that I sent, the PDF that I sent you guys. You should have everything
Yeah, I
on there.
just don't know if it's in the packet. I think I may have it in my house. Is the in the packet, does anyone see there was a PDF where Carlos had actually sent what was still available, but I don't see it in here.
I'll pull it up right now and I'll let you guys know what's
Can you
available.
share, can you let them share screen?
Well, I can't share it because I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you could just tell us, because I
Yeah.
think it was 60-something thousand left over in test well. But I think we need to just find out from Dee, you were gonna make sure, check with your bookkeeping and see if all of the test well was zeroed out. I mean, if you had any other bills that had to do with test well, because if you don't, then we can vote on this. If you still have something that hasn't come in, then we need to wait.
It's all in, Lisa. And it would be included in any billings that we sent.
Okay, so that's,
Don't anticipate anything more.
there was
okay.
only $300 on this last, on the 20, I think.
And was there any left under hydrogeologist?
Nothing left as far as costs that we haven't billed for already.
Right, so, okay, so then basically I think we can move forward because that section has to do with the test well and design, has to do with the test well plans and specs, which is done, test well engineering done, test well inspection done, test well drilling, labor compliance, appraisals, licenses, access. That we still have, but that still has money in the budget, I believe. So really it would be everything except for the appraisal license access. So we, where we needed to move things to were management administration. We needed to move to, I believe, the consolidation MSR, because I believe that's gonna be more than 13,000. Is that correct, Dee?
Yeah, what was that, Lisa? I was looking, what?
So the places where we definitely need to move money soon are consolidation legal, because we're gonna have a slew of fees that have not come to fruition yet.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna talk about right now, but I see those coming. We're going to have additional MSR fees because they quoted us more than what we have left in the budget. We're going to have additional management administration fees because most of that is used. We have very little left. So under the consolidation section, we need to probably put more money. I mean, again, we can wait. We can just take a vote tonight and allow the ad hoc to work with you and the state to make sure of what our needs are, and then we could send the letter. So we could take one more state meeting, I guess, to make sure that we have that straight. If that's okay with everybody, and then we could move everything. Does that sound logical, Carlos? Because we still had some money left, but not very much.
Yeah, we still have time, and we could keep submitting these letters throughout the whole process of this thing. So it's not like we can only submit one letter and that's it.
Right, I think we only talked about one area changing. it.
Yeah, so we do have, and this is not this sheet that I gave you guys is up to date up to claim 19 because claim 20 we haven't submitted yet, but we still have $63,507 left in the test well drilling. And then
Right, we just don't have much money left in management and administration, correct?
no, management administration, we still have $4,342 because we had budgeted
For the end of the year.
About a year's worth.
Right, but that's not even gonna take us to the end of the year at this point.
Yeah, so we're getting we're averaging about $500 a month. So we got about 8 months
Yeah.
left. So we can get, if we get to 62,000, we can move it over to, like you said, MSR. We might need, you guys said we might need more legal.
It's super hard to understand you, Carlos. I can barely understand you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So we can move it into, you guys said we needed more legal funding, so we can move it into legal. So you guys just need to get together and figure out where exactly you want to move this money to so we can write that letter.
I think, again, maybe in the meeting where we're talking to Dee about the timeline, that we can look at this as well, Dee, and make sure that we move. Just the thing that we talked about moving right now was not touching the contingency right now. It was just the amount that was for test well design and drilling.
And we should we should move the hydrology.
Yeah, but that's under there. So I think that was under that same,
Is that part of that 63,000?
I believe so.
No, it's not.
No, it's separate?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 63,000 left in test well drilling, and then we have. Are we done with appraisal of licenses and access, or are we still doing more?
No, that I think we're still gonna have some money.
Okay, and then we have hydrogeologist inspection. There's like almost 3,600 left in there.
Yeah, that's.
And then hydrogeology report, there's about 18,000 left in that.
So, yeah, so maybe we can sit down and move some of that because I believe we're gonna need to move stuff to the MSR.
Well, don't we need some stuff also in legal?
Yes, legal and MSR. We need money in legal. How much money is left in consolidation
Legal.
legal?
There's, I think it's not, there's 9,000.
Okay, and how much is left in standard legal?
1,800.
Okay, so that's the
So-
area where we're
So
gonna
why
need
don't
it.
we vote tonight to move the hydrology $3,600 to the legal and.
Consolidation
and-
legal?
No, to the standard legal and we can write that letter for just that particular one.
I would move more than that. It's gonna add up.
Well,
quickly.
I think it'd be better to find out exactly what you want to move so we can do it all in one letter.
I agree, it should be a big amount.
Yeah. Legal's gonna go way up.
So if we do move the hydrogeology, like Bram was saying, that's like almost 18,000.
Right, so that we could, I guess we could just,
I thought you said we only had 3,600 left in hydrology.
no, that's in the.
No, that's for hydrogeology and inspection, there's 3,600. But for hydrogeology report, we have 17, almost 18,000 left.
Oh, okay.
And then there's water quality testing. I don't know if we're doing anything else in that or not, but
Yeah, there'll be more water quality testing because
okay.
we may need that if we get 8, right? Because we're gonna have to ask for additional funding. We don't even know.
Oh, actually, you know what? I was looking at the wrong line. That's the 18,000 is water quality testing. The hydrogeology report, there's 6,193 left.
So I think we need to sit down with us on the
Yeah.
ad hoc and make sure that we're moving the right amount so we can do the letter before we do the state meeting.
Yeah.
But Carlos, can you send that out so that we can all look at that spreadsheet before we have the meeting?
He sent it to us once. It's a PDF. It's from the week of the state meeting update that we did last time.
Yeah, it's in the ad hoc meeting
But maybe send it,
attachment.
why don't you send it again so we don't have to slog through all that, if that's okay?
Who do you want me to send it to? Dee,
Me.
Lisa?
Yes.
Me and Director Nyman.
Okay, I'll send it to you, just that sheet by itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe to Tiffany too, so she has a record of it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a little,
So
are we gonna, do we need to take a vote on something?
no, I think we need to take a good look at it because we don't have it in front of us and we need to work through that. So that second meeting that we have to work on the timeline, we need to also make sure that our numbers are correct for this first move of funds, and we need to write that letter that goes to Lawrence.
So is that gonna affect your financial meeting that day? I mean, if you do 3 hours with this one and then,
No, that's gonna
Financial
be, we
meeting,
said
no?
on the 10th, so they
Oh,
can meet on the
okay.
Tuesday.
okay,
I don't care.
okay, so are we at C yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go to C.
I'm sorry, Terry, what?
Yeah, let's go to C.
Okay, discussion vote on production well property appraisals. Is that you, Dee?
So Dee, we need to just agree as a board without getting into a bunch of discussion about it because we can't have our attorney here, but we just need to agree as a board to move forward with the items we need to move forward with for the for access
That's gonna
right
be-
now.
That's gonna be D, right? On the thing. Item D.
That's item D.
Yeah, but it has to do with the appraisal too.
But we can only move forward on one part of D until Alan does his thing.
Well,
Well said.
I thought the property appraisals were already done.
They are.
The property appraisals are done, but we haven't given them to the property owners other than CNC, which we gave the appraisal for, but that's a different item. So this is the project
This is
for
the
Lake of
project.
the Woods.
We haven't given
We have not given this appraisal to anyone.
anyone, that's right.
The other project that will come up, which is number 9, we have given the appraisal.
Yes.
So basically, we have the appraisals, we're gonna have to move forward on the appraisals, but we can't move forward on the appraisals until we deal with item D. We can't deal with all of item D necessarily until we talk to the attorney, but we had already voted to move forward on well number 7 in a previous meeting.
Yeah.
When we were in closed session, we came out of closed session with a motion to move forward. Well, 7, and I believe we don't even need to actually vote on that. Actually, we can just, as the board, understand that we need to move forward.
We just need Alan to move forward for the easement,
That's on
for
se-
temporary easement on number
And that's
7.
actually 9C.
But
Oh.
that's not even,
So that's actually 9C. That's the next category on.
Oh, that's the next category.
Wait.
The one up here, D, we can't do anything until Alan talks to other people and informs
Okay,
us.
so when
Right.
is Alan gonna talk to other
He's on
people?
vacation right now
Would you know?
for
when
this
he's
week.
coming
All right,
back?
I don't
when
know when
does
he's
he
coming
come
back.
back?
I'm just saying that,
next week?
Okay, who's gonna follow up with him?
well, we've been in email communications with D2 all the way. Yesterday was the last response, I think, from him.
Right, I get that, but I'm just
Well, he
saying,
said he's gonna follow up. so
well, I
that's what
just
we're
wanna
actively
make sure,
So-
that we're on top of this, that we don't, it doesn't take another month for us to get an answer from Alan. I don't wanna wait another month to get an answer from Alan for us to move forward on these issues.
Well, we're not gonna. That's
So
why-
I think what we need to do is let's carry over, and I
We always
think,
carry over.
I know, but Director Nyman, you and I and Dee can get together and talk, and Johnny can talk to Alan and get things to where we're all set up to vote on things at the next meeting. So we need to carry over the item 7 to the next.
Alan says he's on vacation this week, which means that on Monday, I can reach out to him and get a hold of him.
Item
Find out.
7.
Good.
Item 7 that we tabled, we need to take it off the table at the next meeting.
Yeah, so 7,
So just move 7 to the next meeting in August.
The second meeting in
The
August.
first
The
one.
first meeting.
The first meeting in
The first
August.
meeting, okay.
Yeah, please, the first.
Oh, yeah, we need to move fast.
So yeah, so we just need to move on because we can't really do any of this stuff. So we can't do EC, we can't really do D. And E, we have talked about, but we can talk about it a little bit more, but we already came up with a
Meeting and a plan.
meeting and a plan, so I think we already covered E, correct, everybody?
Yes.
So F, we cannot do until we have the sphere of influence map. Once we have that completely completed, dialed in, then we can do F. G, we can't do until,
Well, we got the letter.
yeah, so we can do G, we can read the letter.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, so I move that we discussed all of this stuff.
No, we don't really need a.
We don't really need a
No.
motion.
Okay,
We're just on G now.
okay, discussion vote on the early drilling of well 8 and the quote from Tom Dodson and Associates for environmental work.
Right, so we can't really talk about the early drilling, but we can talk about the quote from Tom Dodson and Associates.
And keep in mind that that is an estimate from Tom.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's probably pretty conservative, but I'm not
I think so too.
Tom. But, you know, the total fees saying would be around 31,000.
Right.
But that doesn't include your report or what, because you do reports for him, right?
No, what he would need to do is just work off the information that we already have and for well 8, and he would, he's got a list of many things that he has to do.
See, what's not answered here, and maybe I'm crazy and I'm missing it, what's not answered is the fact that the state does not like us to separate the two projects. And this is part of this project, the Lake of the Woods, but we are not allowed to use this money to actually drill or anything. So does he understand that the big issue is that it would be a separate CEQA in a lot of ways? Like it wouldn't be the same. I mean, there's a CEQA for the overall project. And if we drill this early because we get funding somehow, and that was Lawrence's big issue, was he's not willing to even start to consider funding for it unless the CEQA is legitimate to separate it into being drilled early. And I don't see that addressed here unless I missed it.
That wasn't my understanding, but maybe that will come up. What I understood Lawrence wanted was, what would it take to do the CEQA to drill well number 8 early? And then he would compare that to what we budgeted for the project, which is around $56,000.
Yeah.
And
That's not the issue to my understanding, Dee. The issue to my understanding is not what will it take, it's what happens because we can't really have two CEQAs, that is frowned upon. So how does it work if we have to pay for construction and have a CEQA early and then do a second larger CEQA for the broad project? And that's the big issue. It's not the funding of it so much as it's the funding is going to be a separate issue, but it's really, that there's always an issue separating CEQA documents, like separating one big project, but having two CEQAs for one project. And that's what I thought you were asking Tom.
what I was asking Tom for was, what would it take to move the drilling of well 8 forward and do the CEQA separately for doing that work? And that was my understanding what Lawrence wanted. And then he needs to then look at that and say, okay, now what do we do for the project itself, for the overall project? How is that going to affect the CEQA for the overall project? And I think that's a decision he has to make. With this information.
I'm sorry. I believe that what Lawrence said is that he wasn't going to make, that's a decision Tom Dodson needs to, he's the expert on this. So he needs to tell us if he thinks that will fly to have this CEQA and then a separate CEQA in the same project.
Well, I got a question.
Yes, Director Kelly?
If we drill well 8 before we connect or annex in, okay? And we already have a CEQA done for well 8. Why would we need to?
Well, we don't have it for well 8.
That's what this is saying, that we would have a CEQA.
It's a separate CEQA
And well, it's already
from the
part
Lake of the Woods project,
But we're talking about doing it early. We've already got wells already in the ground here in Fraser.
Let her finish.
Okay? I'm just, because if we drill well 8 and we get we get the CEQA, we get well 8 in. We've already got our other wells in. Why would that, the next CEQA, the second CEQA, still not encompass the whole? I mean, I don't understand why you want another separate CEQA for well 8.
Director Schoender?
Okay, the issue is that the project itself, the test wells were part of the project. Everything's part of the project.
Right.
Well 8 is part of the project. So for us to pull well 8 out, we still have to address it as a bigger part of the project. And what happens when you have a big project is that they do not like to have separate CEQAs. This is what happened to us on the well and meter project. And that's why it had to be all put together into one fold, because we couldn't just separate, we needed to do an overall CEQA for the whole thing, correct, Dee?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I will,
No, I'm asking on the well and meter, we had to have one CEQA, correct?
well, yes, yes, we do. And and I don't know exactly how these two can be melded together, but if we already have a CEQA done for one part of the project, then that would be brought into the overall project CEQA. And as part of
So
that,
it would be part, and so it would
No,
just be.
that's our problem.
that's what my understanding is. But I don't have a good understanding.
Right, so my understanding, Dee, and I could be wrong, is that Lawrence's big thing that he wanted you to do was to ask Tom Dodson, not how much will it cost or whether it's feasible.
Well, he did want that information.
Yeah, he wants all this, but he wants to know if Tom Dodson feels that we can somehow have the CEQA separated off. Because normally, because we've already been dealing with well 8 as part of the bigger project, normally they would not let us do two separate CEQAs.
Well, Lawrence's response.
Put that up in the next state meeting.
Lawrence's response to me, when I sent this to him, I think you folks got it too. He said, I would assume separating the well would not reduce the cost for the consolidation. Likely cost more than the 56,000 estimated years ago. And my answer was yes, of course it will. There wasn't a concern, at least in this email thread, that was a concern. But again, I'll talk with Tom. I'll contact Lawrence. But the whole reason that we did this was because we thought it was a good idea to get well 8 drilled early, because we're in big trouble if we lose one of our wells. If we lose well 7, we lose well 6. And so the getting up to this point was, hey, what do we need to do to drill well 8 early? And how does that, how can we get that done? And how can we separate that from the project, but still cover it with the project CEQA? Because, we need a backup well. If we lose either one of these wells, you guys know we're in trouble. So the whole reason for wanting to move well 8 up was to get that backup early. And then with that, and then with well 9, then we would have the complement that we need to do the whole project. So well 9 wouldn't have to be folded into the project CEQA. But the whole reason for doing all of this is simply to move well 8 up, but not interfere to any degree with the project.
I think what just Lisa needs clarification on, that you might want to ask Tom Dodson, is is whether or not having two CEQAs, and since we're possibly moving well 8 up, whether or not having two CEQAs would be a problem with the state, under his opinion.
You know, the best thing to do would be, I'll set up a conference call with Tom and Lawrence and Lisa and you, Brahma, and myself and Johnny.
Okay,
And we can get those questions answered directly from the two people that really know more about this than I do.
okay, yeah,
You know,
because,
And if you can include me as well, Dee.
uh,
because my big thing is if you listen to our minutes from the state update meeting, Dee, Lawrence's big issue was that he was not gonna move forward in any way, shape, or form on anything to do with funding unless we had that question answered. I specifically heard him say that multiple times on our state update meeting.
Well.
let's cover that in our conference call.
Huh?
Let's cover that in our.
Yes, yes, that sounds good.
So a conference call sounds good, right?
Yes,
Yeah, because another one of his concerns was that if we drill well 8 early and do the sequel for it, does that mean that well 8 is no longer part of the consolidation project? So that's why I think that's where Lisa was getting at, that he was trying to figure out how we do the sequel for well 8 now to where it doesn't take it out of the bigger picture of the project. And once we do that meeting, if we can figure out, if we answer Lawrence's question, then my program director said that we would be open to discuss funding the environmental work with the CTA funds. But we have to get that sequence stuff figured out first.
That'd be
right,
great.
so everything kind of hinges on that meeting because Lawrence can move forward with some of his things and we can get TA funding potentially. So, but we better figure out when you're thinking about for that. E?
What's your availability, for, let's see, Tuesday?
Tuesday, I'm in surgery. But you can meet with just Director Nyman, I suppose.
Let's see, can we bring a phone into the surgery center?
No, it's a hospital and I'm sure I'm gonna be completely out for quite a while.
We don't want you making decisions at that point.
Just kidding. All right, right after that, Lisa, what would be a good time? That would be the 4th, I think.
I mean, the 4th, when we have our SOI meeting is fine.
Yeah. Maybe that's when we do that. Let me get
We
on.
could do a conference call in here, so if we're already all sitting here, that would probably be,
That's gonna be a very complicated meeting. There's a lot going on.
yeah.
So I just will have to leave by 12:40.
Oh, that's fine. We can, I don't think it's going to take a long time to determine what we're going to do about the SOI because we got Forest Service all over us. And so, there's not a whole lot of choices there if you look at those maps. So
Right, and you already have the maps done, basically done. We just need to approve it, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think we've got a lot of, don't have a lot of wiggle room there. So I think we can settle that rather quickly. And then, I think a half an hour conversation with Tom and Lawrence on the phone, we'll get the answers and then, we'll have a path forward that we all understand. And then, yeah. Because
Are you available then, Carlos? That's Thursday, August 4th, sometime between 9 and noon.
Your SOI meeting is at 9, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but we can shuffle whatever we need to shuffle. We can move the SOI after this conversation. So it just, between 9 and 12 on the 4th, if you're available.
Yeah, I'll make time.
Okay, so then we just have to find out if Tom Dotson's available, do you want?
Yes. we'll do that.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can move on now.
Yes.
Discussion vote on Lake of the Woods projects and consolidation.
So this would be actually Joan, I think we added this, Joan and I can't see Stan and whoever else is the board of Lake of the Woods and Pam. I think we added this item so that we could talk about any needs that, or any discussion that needs to come from Lake of the Woods on projects, project funding, any other issues with consolidation where you need to bring something up to D or.
So do you got, anyone have anything?
Stan, somebody's got their hand up. Stan,
no,
I
that's
think.
the cursor
Oh, no,
again.
that's the cursor again.
Playing with us.
Sorry. That's the second time I fell for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, good deal.
I don't have anything, guys.
Okay.
Joan, do you?
Sarah?
It looks like you were gonna say something.
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
We're all on track over here.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion vote on claim number 20, other claims and payouts in state forms 260 and 261. So Carlos, that's you. Isn't it?
Yes. And we already looked at this item at the state update meeting.
Yeah, let me open it up. Did you guys get the updated claim? I sent it
believe
kind of
so.
late yesterday.
Is that what's in here, Stephanie? Or is it the-
Yeah. I think it's the new one, I see it.
Yeah, I believe we have the new one in front of us, Carlos.
Okay, so basically all I had to do was fix the cover sheet because some of the letters got all mixed up somehow
Yeah.
when I sent it.
This
So
is
I
the
fixed-
fixed one.
Yeah, I fixed it. So basically, are you guys gonna read the claim or you want me to read it or?
Grandma, do you want to do that?
I could do that. Okay, we had, under, project, under the management, we had $458.33. 400 was, for meetings, 58. Well.
Yeah, 400 was the board, the regular
Okay,
board.
400 was the board, and then $58.33 was for an ad hoc committee
The state update.
on the state update, on that particular one, and then we had staff costs of 8601, which and then we had an invoice from D. Jasper and Associates for SOI mapping 22-06019 in the amount of $838, which that total comes to $1,382.34. Then we also had another under test well administration, D. Jasper Associates invoice number 22-06017 in the amount of $306, which brought the total for claim 20 to $1,688.34. So I would like to make a motion that we approve claim 20 in the stated amounts.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Director Nyman, seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call, directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schonberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Gibson, I 500. So we can move on.
Yep.
Discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. A discussion vote on the engineering agreement with D. Jasper and Associates. Oh, Director Nyman.
I had one issue with this contract deed. Well, two things. I know this contract is for the meter replacement project. Once again, you've put in under item 43, it says client agrees to consultant's liability and to all contractors and subsequent contractors on the project due to negligence, acts and errors to the sum of $50,000. We've taken that out before. We need to take this out again.
Yep, we do. Sorry, that got in there. We'll take it out.
Good catch, Director Nyman. Does anybody have anything else to question or comment about it?
So if nobody else has any comments on this contract, I make a motion that we approve D. Jasper Associates contract for the well 5 replacement meter project with the amendment of deleting item number 43 from the contract.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call, directors. Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg, Director Kelling. Aye. Gibson, aye, 500. Discussion vote update.
Since you're going to be the one that has to sign this.
When he revises it and sends it back.
So if you could revise that and send it back, Dee, so we could get it signed.
And you can make sure Director Gibson that 43 is not on there.
I will do that.
Dee,
Tiffany will remind me, right?
why don't you just line it out and line out that, and I'll initial it and you guys initial it, and we won't have to, shoot this stuff back and forth 2 or 3 times. It's okay with me, let's just line the darn thing out.
It will be missed a number and won't that look
That's okay.
No,
weird?
that's fine.
No, I think, you just line it up and just.
No, all you're gonna do is exit and then initial it.
Yep.
I actually
Say
think we
omit.
did that
And then he'll-
last time.
Okay,
Yeah,
works for me.
you just write omit and then he'll do the same thing and
Boom.
boom, it's done.
Cool.
Okay, discussion vote update on drilling well 7.
Oh, I'm inviting people to a 9 o'clock meeting on the 4th. Sorry. Yeah, we're where we were last week, and that is we don't have a signed document from Carlos and Veronica, and it appears as though we likely will not have one. And so when Alan gets back next week, I think the board is in agreement with going ahead and pursuing the temporary easement in the courts.
Yes.
Dee, did CNC give any word to you on why they were having an issue?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm the one that texted Carlos trying to get him to let me stop by there to get the signed agreement, and he didn't even respond.
Actually, that's C. Are we on C now? Are we
Yeah.
moving on to C?
Oh, I guess that is, no, that's the.
Yeah, because on
Yeah.
update on drilling well 7, we can't
Yeah.
drill.
We can't
well
drill
7
well
until we
7
receive.
unless
So
we
we
have
get, so we
access.
can do C.
Okay,
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, they didn't even respond, so.
And the only other thing is, I talked to Carlos yesterday, Johnny, or the day before, and basically he said, well, they just need more time for their attorney to look at it, and I expressed the fact that we really need to get that done, and that if they don't get it to us.
We already gave him a longer time just for the sake of getting married. He said he would do it for sure after 10 days, and now it's been probably a month of nothing, so I say Monday we file.
Monday, we file and get the court date.
We need to talk before that so we need to have that meeting.
So
Right.
you're saying not,
Alan.
not till after the fourth?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well 7, Alan can start well 7 right away. He said that he's already pretty much ready for that. What you guys are gonna have to talk to him about is anything further.
I know,
Well,
but we had talked about combining stuff, so anyway, we need that meeting, but as far as well 7, we already had a motion on that. It was just with a different property owner, so.
Okay, I make a motion that, that we move forward with, the court date, for the temporary easements on well 7.
No matter who the property owner is.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Nyman, seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
No,
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Gibson, aye. So it's 4-1-0.
Or 1. Yeah, 4-0.
Okay.
I
Discussion
don't,
vote. Yeah.
I just don't understand why she's having a problem, because
I don't think we need to discuss that right now, but there's definitely at much higher cost to us. So I have a problem because it's gonna cost us more money by moving forward without first talking to our attorney. That's all I'm gonna say.
okay, but when are we gonna be able to talk to the attorney, Lisa?
We
Because
have
to talk.
a meeting set.
No, you don't.
No, we don't.
I thought we.
Closed
talked
session
about-
in our next meeting.
In our, not until the second week
Well, I
of
thought we
August.
talked about, that's the closed session, but I thought we talked about talking to the attorney earlier than that.
Why don't we simplify it, and Monday, when you're available, Lisa, we could do a conference call with Alan
Yes. we
and
need to
you,
do
and then
that.
that way we're covered.
Yes.
Well, but no, because she's saying that
No, I understand.
No,
what you're
the
saying. What I'm saying
we
is-
can go forward.
Well, see, if we keep on dancing around this issue, we don't want to talk about it. So let's just simply, Monday, when you're available, we'll get a conference call going with Alan, and he'll talk to you, and then you'll feel comfortable with that. So let's just do that Monday. We can't set up a time because we don't know when he's available, but when you're available, just call.
You're saying I'm just calling out.
Okay, or I could call, but I don't know when you're available, is all I'm saying. So
I'm available anytime on
I'm
Monday.
trying to make it simple, that if you, to cooperate with your schedule.
Should we have a special meeting with a closed session?
No.
No, this
Okay.
is just gonna require a phone call.
Well, can I change my vote? Is it too late?
I think it's all gonna be clarified. I think you guys are putting a lot of worry and stress on something we could just move right on by. You guys have already discussed it. There's just a legality that Alan has to address on one issue, and if it can't be addressed in a timely manner, we're gonna have to proceed with the second issue, because we can't have a driller come back and say, now the bid's no good anymore, because it took too long. So Alan will explain timelines and timeframes and what the situation is on Monday when he talks to you, and then you can decide at that point. But at this point right here, item number 7 is a go, as
But
long
we
as
need to-
Lisa
we
and
need to
Brahma's
go
opinion
either
is,
way.
as long as Lisa and Brahma's comfortable with his discussion on the other issue that we can't talk about.
Okay.
Are the directors okay with giving Director Nyman and myself authority to have our attorney move on without waiting
For another meeting.
until the next meeting?
Yeah, of course.
But that's what the
I'm
vote
okay.
just was.
That-
Everybody
that's
voted
what I
yes
thought we
except for you.
just
So-
voted on.
No,
But if
we
you want to
didn't-
add
we
something
did
else
not
into that
vote on
motion,
that.
All right.
if you want to add,
I'm not adding it into the motion because that's why we are in closed session.
Okay.
well, then it'll have, if you don't,
You guys just aren't
No.
seeing them.
no, I'm
Bigger
not
picture.
comfortable with that.
Okay. Then it needs to happen at the next meeting.
Can't wait that long, so I guess we need to set another meeting. up.
Well,
I
no,
think we're
because
gonna
we've
wind up-
already voted and it passed. So Alan can go ahead and do Monday.
we could do the temporary easement on 7th. They've approved that. And then the rest, we can wait for the closed session.
Right.
It's as simple.
Unless on
Right, but if
Monday,
we do that,
Alan
it's gonna be
said, I
considerably
can
more
resolve
cost.
this easily, which is why I tried to make it simple. If Alan says on Monday, we can resolve this easily in 2 days or 3 days, then the concern won't be there anymore. If he says, no, it's gonna take a while.
We already
we can't
approved
wait.
the other anyway.
I know, but you guys
I'm
are
not
approving
arguing
it
with you. I'm
without
trying to say
having
we can
full
move on with it.
information. That's the
Okay.
problem. But whatever you guys want to do, it's not you guys all approved it, you're just missing the bigger picture, so it's gonna cost our town more money.
Not if we have the phone call on Monday. If he
No,
said-
they already approved just one
Yes,
thing.
but it's
And
still
they're
gonna be a
not
phone
allowing
call.
No, I know, but they're not gonna allow us to just say,
Oh my
yes, go
God.
ahead. So,
What you're talking about is part of the whole big project.
I think
We've
we're out
gotta
of
get 7 in. You're
Anyway.
talking about something that's gonna happen in the future, at which point then we're gonna
We're
have to
talking
address
about-
that then.
Well, 8 property.
Yes,
let's
Oh, what
just-
we need for that.
that's in the future. That's in this big we can't do half of what we want with well 8, even on the
It's the
sequel.
same
Don't you
business.
understand the legal thing of
I
going
do.
forward with the legal thing?
I do.
Director Nyman.
If the ad hoc were to read what
Okay.
Alan said to you guys, you would understand why we shouldn't even be talking about this right now.
Right,
Okay.
Let's not.
It'd be that
so
simple.
I really think that we shouldn't have voted on that, but that's just
No, we're
my
gonna keep on
opinion.
messing
So
around though
my
with
vote's a
CNC.
no, and we'll just move on.
We're gonna keep messing around with CNC to the point where Biggs for well and drilling is gonna say the
That's right.
bid is no good anymore.
Right.
And then we're really in
Well, we
trouble.
neted to talk to Alan before.
And
we
then
did
that's
that,
even
so
more cost to
Yeah.
To
the
the
town
town.
players.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go to the next one. All right.
Okay,
So just so what's our path forward?
I think we still need a conference call, but we just can't make any decision for the board.
Okay,
But-
so-
Still need a
But our
conference call.
conference call has to do with getting a court date, with the easement, temporary easement for well 7.
Look at it this way. This is a simple way to look at it. 7's approved if it's only that. When ad hoc, we have the conference call on Monday, if we talk to Alan and something changes to where we feel like a decision has to be made, we'll have an emergency meeting to let it be made. If it's gonna be too far past to deal with the issue that has to be addressed, then, and Alan recommends we proceed with 7, we'll just proceed with 7. But we'll have all that figured out Monday before anybody files anything.
Okay.
so are you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Discussion vote on the status of the meter replacement project and requesting additional funding.
Did you give a time for Dee to, or for Johnny to set up the conference call? Director
Monday.
Schoenberg.
If that's available.
Need to know that.
Thank you.
Yes, Dee wants to be on that.
Just set it up whenever you can, and I'll make myself available. I'm gonna cancel everything for that day.
So Monday, sometime Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Alan's gonna have going, so I'll throw him out there 11 o'clock. Because he's been on vacation all week. He may have stuff he wants to address first thing in the morning. And then you guys will all see the email response from him if that ain't gonna work.
Okay, does that work? I thought your surgery was on Monday.
No,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay, moving on,
Monday at 8 o'clock. Okay.
discussion vote on the bridge loan for meter replacement. We haven't heard
Oh,
any
wait,
news
wait,
on that.
We gotta go to the,
Carlos?
are we requesting?
I-
additional-
That was,
I think we were waiting on that contract for D, which you guys just approved.
so as soon as you get that signed, you'll get that over to Carlos?
I'm off on Monday and Tuesday. Yeah,
We did skip D.
so I'm gonna try to get Becky to
Did I
sign
skip
it
D?
tonight. I mean,
Okay.
she's sitting right here. I just had to print it and I'll have Becky sign it
Thank you,
and
dear.
initial it tonight. D, I'll just need D's portion of it, but other than that, either I'll send it Wednesday or we rush it and get it out to.
Okay, we'll get it to you Wednesday, Carlos. After,
I made a mistake and I skipped over D. I announced it, but we didn't discuss it.
Right.
Discussion vote on status of the meter replacement budget and requesting additional funding.
That's you, Oscar.
Well, I'm sorry, I just got confused with all the, can you
Yeah.
repeat that again? You're talking about 9D and E kind of go together, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so
And
we
went on to
mentioned,
E and forgot D.
yeah, well, I think that kind of D and E relate to each other, so
Yes.
the status on that, I think was that we're waiting on that the contract that was just approved. So once I receive that, I can forward it to Jessie, and then she's gonna review the entire application, and she'll make a comment, or she'll let me know if anything further is needed to proceed forward with that.
And theoretically, if the bridge loan goes through, we're gonna use the bridge loan to pay initially until we can get paperwork done with Lawrence to hopefully extend the funding. So we'll have money to pay contractors to go out to bid on the meters. We just will have to also simultaneously make sure that Lawrence is helping us apply for additional funding, which takes about 6 months.
Except bridge loan it's like a line of credit.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
We use
the-
it as credit as it gets paid
the-
off.
Yeah, the amendment to the funding agreement could take as 6 months or even longer at the way things are going at the state right now.
What's new?
but you said it's been approved, right?
No,
The bridge loan,
The bridge loan?
no, the bridge
it's
loan
not
hasn't been approved yet
completely
either.
approved either. It's
No, the
waiting on the contract that's happening.
Okay, so we've covered E. Can we move on to F? Discussion vote on the plans and specifications for the meter replacement.
Back to D.
D,
We're,
still with us?
yeah,
Am I
yeah,
confused you
sure am.
completely?
I'm confused, but hey, nothing new there. This is this Saturday or maybe, what? Anyhow, we're targeting the week of August 8th to have these plans and specifications available to the board for review. And then we will, once the board is done with that, hopefully get it reviewed really quickly. And we'll send a set to you, Carlos, and to Jesse. And they've already looked at, well, not you, Carlos, but Jesse's looked at preliminary specifications and plans.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Ryan from Ferguson was just here yesterday talking about, it had been a year and a half since he got pricing on the meters for the smart meter project. And he said that if you feel like it's gonna help you to get updated pricing, we could just reach out to him. You can reach out to him and he'll be happy to turn it around for you if you need that as part of the plans and specs.
Okay, thank you. We'll do that.
Okay, so now discussion vote. Do you have something to say?
No, I sighed.
Discussion vote on going out to bid for the meter replacement.
As soon as we have approval from the board and Jesse, we can put it on the street.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? H, discussion vote on claim 5, other claim payouts and state form 260 and 261.
Before we go over claim 5, I wanted to just make a comment regarding 3 invoices from D that go back to is that September, Tiffany? The claims, do you?
July, August, September, I believe.
Yeah, that's of last year. So initially, these invoices, I believe, were supposed to go to Irwin. So we wanted to bring that to the board's attention of how do you want to proceed with those invoices?
We get paid.
Do we include them in claim 6?
I have a question, Dee. Didn't we get additional funding from IRWIMP and did you just not submit to them?
Yeah, we did, and we used it all up. We used all the IRWIMP funding up.
The initial and the additional?
Oh, yeah, yeah, the additional was a couple $1,000, I think.
No, it was 20,000, I thought.
I don't think we got that much, but maybe we did. But we did use it up. We used all of it. And then I'd have to go back and look at what we billed for those invoices, but we had to move the well. We've had to do a number of things
Yeah.
regarding that well 5. It got extremely.
How much are we talking about?
Do you have those invoices
No,
handy,
no, I
Tiffany?
Yeah, if you want the amounts, I can run in my office and get it for you.
Please do.
Okay, let me go look.
I just have a question, Dee, because we didn't really see the invoices that went to IRWIP. I just don't want to like double pay stuff, that's all.
yeah,
We're sure that stuff didn't get paid?
I'm sure that we're not double billing. I'm sure about that. But you know, I don't have the invoices in front of me. They're so old that
Tiffany's getting them right now.
but we had to redesign the well. We initially, you know, the history of this is we started with the USDA. We put all that together with US, you know, with their specifications. And then in order to bid it for the state, we had to redo it and put it on the state's format, which is quite a job in itself. Then we moved the position of the well from well where we were going to drill it to position now, and had to replumb it, had to redesign the mechanical piping and the electrical and connection to the system. So we had it, you know, this started out to be really simple, but it ended up pretty complex.
Right, so you had submitted these to IRWIN, but they didn't pay? Is
No.
that what happened? Is that why they're so,
No, we didn't
we
submit.
just missed them?
We submitted to IRWIMP everything that they would pay for, and they did. And that we used that funding up. And then this, as I recall, is in addition to that. We didn't double bill. It wasn't our.
So they just
Can't read it to you.
missed us, you just missed in all of the billing, like you had all these changes in the billing office, so that's why they just got passed by.
Oh, what's that, Lisa? I didn't hear it.
They're just really old, so I was just asking, they got passed by because of all the things that were going on with your changes in the billing department.
It could be.
You want me to read them?
Sure.
Okay, the first one, invoice 21-09012. It's dated September 30th, 2021. It's in the amount of $2,317.14. Second invoice is 21-10015, dated October 31st, 2021. It's in the amount of $2,047.30. And the final one is 21-12018, dated November 30th. And that's in the amount of $747.79. So we're looking at right at 5,000 total.
So
roughly.
quick question for Oscar is, how does that affect, we still have, that comes out of the design, correct? And so do we still have, it looks like we still, how much money do we still have in design? For well 5, well 7?
Give me a minute. Let me look at the numbers.
And the other question is, are those invoices gonna have to be redone, to Fraser Park? And
Do
not-
they, are
and
they
not say
headed
Irwin,
to Irwin?
because if they're made to Irwin, they're gonna disallow it from the,
Let me go see what their titles.
They're probably not titled Irwin, they're probably titled us. It's just they found that they had stuff
well,
that
I
they had
just think we
built.
need to make sure, because you never know. Just be,
Tiffany's just checking to see what the titles are on the invoices to make sure they're not titled to Irwin for anything, to make sure we can pay them with no problem with the state.
I certainly can do that.
No, Tiffany's checking right now.
Okay.
And then if he has to redo them.
Yeah, if we have to redo the heading, we'll just redo the heading. So, we're just waiting to see, make sure we have enough under design to do that without having to move anything. Do we have more design work for well 5, well 7? We don't, right? Because we already went out to bid, everything, plans and specs are all finished, so anything left under design, we'd be able to pay this with, correct, Dee?
Correct.
Okay,
Title to us.
okay, it's titled to us, so we just need to know from Oscar if we have that money available, because everything else under design for at least well 7 should have been completed because we already went out to bid.
We had a total of 94,000 in planning and design, and so far, up to claim 4, we've billed $59,673. So
And
yes, we have
that's
enough.
not including the meter, that's just design for well 7, correct?
No, that's our design allowance it's included both projects in one. That's what we had for both projects for planning and design.
And we have, so we had 90-something thousand, because here it says
94.
114,000 for the two combined.
94,000 is what after the funding agreement was revised and changed, we were allocated 94,000 in planning and design, and so far up to this point, we've used up $59,673.
So we should
Not
be
including claim 5. This is based off of the form 261 that was 260 that was sent by Lawrence for claim 4.
How much more?
how much more do we
does
have
he have?
for the
Meters.
meters?
Right. Because you're not done designing, how much more, and how many bills have we not gotten for the meters yet, Dee? Any idea?
No, I have the tabulation. Let me see if I can find the file.
So we have 34,000 left in planning and design, roughly. 34,327.
So this would bring us to like 29 when we pay these, so we just need to make sure we've covered most of the planning and design for the meters. They still haven't finished the plans and specs for that, so there's still gonna be some costs that come in
For the meter,
for
yeah.
the meter.
We're pretty close, though. Very close. Let's see.
I think there's-
trying to find the updated budget.
Well, really, do you think what you have in front of you, still for the meters before we can go out to bid is
Yeah.
any more than $28,000?
No, I don't.
Okay, because then I think we can move forward.
Do we need to make a motion to
Yes.
pay claim 5?
I make a motion that,
Wait, is Oscar done with explaining claim 5?
Well, we don't need all
No, we're not
claim
doing
5, we
claim
just need to
5.
make a motion for these
Correct.
3 invoices.
so I make a motion that these 3 invoices, be put on to claim 6, for under design. In the amount of, whatever the total 3 is like $5,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion's been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Schoenberg. Roll call on
Oh,
Director.
actually, one quick question before we vote. Oscar, do you think we'll have a problem with the state paying because they're older on claim 6?
I don't think so because we just received claim 3 and claim 3 went back. I think it went back pretty far as well. Went back all the way to
Okay.
November.
Because they said they do reimbursements for stuff that happened earlier. So, okay. So, yeah.
And then I think the initial funding agreement was signed like in July, so that's all within our window, you know.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so we can vote.
Okay, a roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, aye, 500. Number 10, discussion vote on pipeline.
No, we're not done yet.
We're not done. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oscar's still doing the claim.
I'm sorry, Oscar.
Oh, you're fine. So let me bring up claim 5. So for claim 5, we are charging, we have an invoice from D, and that's gonna come out of the planning and design. That amount is $1,431, and the invoice number is 22-06020.
No, it wasn't.
And
that-
then,
Well, Oscar, that was $1,493.70.
what was that?
What I'm looking at says $1,493.70.
Oh, do you change the invoice
Oh, but that, okay, so,
today?
Today?
so then we didn't get the,
Then we didn't get to review it. And because I had a question about the overtime on this, so was the overtime taken off?
So they removed the.
Yes, it was
overtime,
removed.
And
Okay,
they removed all the.
Yeah, and just to clarify things, the bill was not billed at an overtime rate. The bill
Okay.
was billed normally at the normal rate. We rarely do that unless we're, doing inspections or something like
so
that.
what was that amount again, Oscar?
So that invoice was revised by Gail,
Right.
and they removed the label of overtime and the prints. So the new amount for that invoice is $1,431 even.
Okay, because she'd already sent it out. It wasn't in the packet.
that's what it says
And the-
in the packet. They didn't change the amount, they just took off overtime and the copies.
They removed
Yeah.
the copies as a turn.
We dropped the copies off and we removed the comment about overtime. The technician, the engineer mistakenly put that on his timesheet and it got transferred over to the bill, the comment, but we did not bill for overtime.
Okay. Go ahead, Oscar.
Okay, so And then there is another invoice from D, and that went under admin. That was for the special meeting. The invoice number is 22-06021, and that's in the amount of $204. Then we have an invoice from Young and Woolridge. That is invoice number 91157, and that's in the amount of $2,658. And I want to say that I made a note on there that we were just including current costs. So it's highlighted and it's in red there, in case Lawrence or Eric have any questions about that. Because I know there was a existing balance from like claim 3 and claim 4, but we only included current charges for this month.
Right. On that.
And then there is the Fraser Park Public Utility District, the special meeting that we had in June, and everything's attached on there. And that's in the amount of $521.50, which brings the claim 5 amount to $4,814.50.
Director Schoenberg,
Okay, I'll move that we approve the claim 5.
I'll second that.
okay, the motion has been made by Director Schoenberg and seconded by Director Kelling. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson, aye, 500. Number H, discussion vote on, oh no, sorry. We're on to 10 now. Discussion vote on the pipeline replacement project. A, discussion vote on potholing and mapping. Is that you, Johnny?
Yeah, and indeed, but so Lyle's Construction's doing the potholing. We met with me, Dee, and I think his name was David Lyles. We met and we picked out the initial places that they're gonna start potholing on Monday. I picked initially for the most dangerous ones that if we get pipeline failures, it washes out houses. So hillside stuff and stuff, even though we can't start on the projects immediately, I would still like to know first what's there. And as they progress and as we see how much money we got, then we'll move it around to different areas of town. So like I said, that's gonna start Monday morning.
7?
Huh?
7 o'clock?
Maybe earlier, I was going back and forth on what was gonna work out for D and the guy. I want him to make a habit of the operator to come in and look at both of our maps each morning before they start potholing, so that they know kind of what to expect, and also find stuff that they're not gonna expect, but just to familiarize themselves. So I think that's the game plan right now.
Monday's gonna be a busy day.
Yeah. Got anything to add to that, D?
No, I didn't get a response from Dave as to when he wanted to start.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So we'll probably get that tomorrow. I'll if he doesn't cover you, I'll CC you, Johnny, on that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, discussion vote on project, Director Schoenberg,
D, are you gonna be mapping that as they go?
What we're going to do is they're going to set hubs in the ground, take pictures, and there's a format that they use to locate the different utilities. And each one of these sites will have a number, and then it'll have a picture. It'll have a picture of the utilities. It'll have the depth, and it'll have reference points set out so that we can come with our GPS equipment once a week and tie all of them out that they did that week. So that's our plan right now.
Okay, and then you're gonna do like a map of all that as everything is finished?
Everything that we find will be mapped. And then that will form the basis for our redesign of the pipeline replacements that we're planning, hopefully be able to do.
The reason I'm voicing my concern is that sometimes when we've had a lot of work going, the mapping part falls down in the process. So that's why I'm kind of just voicing my concern.
No, that's the whole purpose. He's gonna be tracking it as he goes, because that's how he's gonna design the mainline replacement, is by doing that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
any
should-
more questions or discussion on that?
Nope.
Okay, B, discussion vote on the project budget.
We can't vote on any of that until we have the design,
Okay,
C or D.
C. So can we do C, discussion vote?
No,
Okay, D, discussion vote on the project
well, we
application.
put the project application.
The initial part
Initial
of the
has been
application.
put in, but we can't do any more until we get this done.
Okay, 11, discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency.
Oh, just a second. I think that's all for Oscar and for Carlos.
Good
And
night,
also, we
gentlemen.
should note the time right now.
Alrighty, have a good night.
Thank you, Carlos.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Good
night.
night.
Good night, thank you.
And we are done talking about the Lake of the Woods project. At 8:05. Discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency Allocation to Special Districts Grant. A, discussion vote update on purchasing of the generators.
Do you have an update on that?
I'm trying to find Curtis's update to you, Tiffany. Do you have that? I'm looking for it right now.
I can remember what it said unless you can pull it up before.
I've had that up by some reason.
What did it say, Jerry?
So basically, they ordered the generators. Well, okay, we have to go back. Cal OES asked for an update report, and they sent the email on, let's see, well, I got it Monday, the 25th. They wanted a report before the 1st. So there was 0 turnaround time for me. So I emailed D, he got me in touch with Curtis, and they gave an update for the report. But I did want to note, so we had December 31st as the date that everything had to be spent as the close of the project. But what was interesting is Cal OES and their reporting said all funds need to be encumbered by December 31st, 2022, which only means that they needed to be set aside as a purchase order, but they didn't have to be liquidated. We don't have to liquidate until 60 days after. So we actually have the funds until the end of February.
Nice.
So that's a little more of a cushion than we thought
But we
had.
want to still hit the
Well,
December
I'm
date.
giving the report.
Yeah.
What Curtis said is the generators are due to come in the first quarter of 2023. He's gonna try to push them to have it in by February. He's gonna rush it, but there's no guarantee that they're gonna be there in time. The good thing is, I believe Cal OES asks for these reports for a reason, especially when they're not scheduled, is because I think they're basically polling the companies to see how many are still having an issue meeting the deadline. So that's a good sign, because if everybody comes back and says that they can't meet the deadline, I have a feeling they may possibly extend it.
And the money is actually, is already encumbered anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be encumbered by the 31st,
That's,
but
I mean, it already
it
is.
has to be liquidated.
Didn't we make a deposit? There was the
Yeah.
amount of the grant, so it's already as encumbered as it could possibly get, so.
It's spent.
We just have to pay for the generators by the end of February. Completely. We have to have the money liquidated by the end of
Even
February.
the extra that's above and beyond their grant money?
No, their grant money has to be.
Well, I
completely
thought
spent.
that's what our deposit was. I thought. the
It's
deposit-
not all of it.
Most of it though?
It's like 160 something thousand was our deposit, And our total grant was 289.
Oh, okay, so still about 100.
Yeah, so they want it all paid off by the end of February. So
Okay,
it's gonna be
close.
close.
There's a
But,
chance we
but
can pull it off.
if we get closer to that time, I mean, I would feel better if, you know, somebody could reach out to the manufacturer itself. If we haven't gotten them by then and say, hey, are they ordered, or what is the timeline? Instead of listening to the guy we're buying them from, then we would feel better about that.
Yeah, D may have more.
Okay, any more discussion on that?
Just stay on top of it.
I like that statement. That's what everybody's doing all the time on everything. Stay on
B,
top of it.
discussion vote on
Until we
engineering
have
and
to get
design.
money back.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Engineering design. Dee, do you have an engineering and design done?
No.
There is no
There is
real
none.
engineering and design other than pads and, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
I think we can, the big deal is getting the generators.
Yeah, the
So
engineering
can we
work,
take this engineering off the agenda?
No, because we need it on there eventually.
Okay,
the engineering work that was done was actually by our electrical engineer who was checking all the calculations. And that's done.
okay, discussion vote on district water tank replacement, A. Discussion vote on choosing a project engineer. Would someone like to take this?
Well,
I mean, I can't make motions or anything, so.
well,
What's the
this,
discussion?
the discussion is, we need to replace 2 tanks, right?
We need to, at the very least, have an engineer peruse these reports. Definitely, this strong suggestion from our diver was that we have to replace Elm tank. Elm and Harrison went in at the same time. They couldn't dive Harrison because we couldn't get enough water in the tank. But the last report where they could dive it showed there was at least 20 rust tubercules inside Harrison. And then there's parcel B, which we know for a fact is failing, but we're hoping we can replace that during the Lake of the Woods project. And then we have Wolf tank that we need to hang some sacrificial diodes in to try to prolong that and keep that from failing, because that was put in 2003 or 2004. So we're looking at, for sure, Harrison and Elm need to be strongly evaluated. Possibly, if we could figure out, if we get an engineer that could help us with this, and we could set up some type of temporary tank at Elm, and we could come up with money for that, we might be able to drain Elm and have somebody that knows what they're doing decide if it could be repaired while we're trying to get funding. The thing is that the diver feels like there's such huge areas, and it's right in the floor of the tank. And I think that tank is also another one that doesn't have seismic pads on it, any of that stuff. So is Harrison. It's of the old nature where there, if something happens, an earthquake happens, it's just going to shake, rattle, and fall apart. But we definitely need to get an engineer that could review all this, make their suggestions to us, and decide if we need to go forward.
Director Schoenberg?
Just one question, because I thought that putting in the sacrificial
Anodes.
Yes, would be a problem on a tank that's that old, because it could potentially cause more problems.
And that's why he's only recommending that we put sacrificial anodes on Wolf and not Harrison and Elm. And for the rest of people to know, sacrificial anodes flow a current through it. And he said on the old 1965 tanks that already got major rust tubercules, you put the artificial anodes in there, the current starts going in between the rust and the tank. It will actually create the rust to lift off and cause all kinds of leaks and tank failures. Wolf tank isn't bad enough to where he feels like that would be an issue. He feels like that's going to prolong Wolf tank. It should have been put in, 10 years ago.
They were on the ground.
And we would be good, but he's not recommending that on Elm and Harrison.
So so we choose another engineer to maybe work with D?
Or just
Be-
to,
Just because there's so much on Dee's plate right now, right? We have so much going.
If I could wade in
Is
on
that
that,
what you're asking?
yeah, what is it that, we've probably done 50 tanks over the last 25 years in sizes from 20,000 gallons to 3 million. Repairs for Oildale Mutual Water Company for 5 or 6 of their huge tanks. We designed bolted tanks, welded tanks. That's all part of what we do. We've inspected them. We've even gotten into the tanks with and this is crazy, with a little air up boat to take a look at the roof structure of some of these tanks. We just finished one for Arvin Community Services District. We do those things all the time. I don't understand. You're going out for some other engineer to do this?
Well, I think Dee, what the issue is that you have so much on your plate already with taking care of meter replacement, well replacement, Lake of the Woods construction. I mean,
Pipeline.
and pipeline. We're just concerned. This is something that's kind of immediate, and we're concerned that there's going to be hard pressed for you to be able to do what we need to do in a timely manner.
the thing I would like to add to that is that when we used other engineers that we haven't worked with, that's not vested in our district, for the other tanks, now we have a tank that was put in 2004 that needs to be torn down. We have Wolf before that was put in, and the engineers that we used, because they were bigger firms, didn't inspect them, didn't do them right, didn't fix them. So you got to weigh that too. If we go with a bigger firm that has more engineers, are we going to get the care that we need? The last project in 2012, Quadnoff, we got an $8,000 altitude bag valve hanging on a tank that serves zero purpose. It doesn't even work at all. So you got to weigh that when you make this decision. If you want to go with another engineer, are we actually going to get more personalized service, or are we going to be thrown in with a whole bunch of other people that, just a bigger firm and shittier engineers that don't really have a stake in this? So.
Well, I understand the disadvantages, but I mean, like at our last meeting, when there were several things that deadlines were coming really close, like Dee had to get something in the very next day. Our big projects, are they going to suffer because that is what I feel.
Well, I guess that's something we need to ask Steve, because Steve said that if he needed more engineers, he would hire more engineers. Because I know, for a good example, there's an engineering firm, I won't say who, that when they were putting together their pipeline replacement fund, didn't respond to requests from the suppliers in timely manner, so they got spec'd out at higher and more expensive things. Project cost more because their engineers weren't invested in enough to answer questions in a timely manner. So the bigger the firm, sometimes you wind up with bigger problems because they don't really care. Quad could care less. Once Rex stopped taking care of the day-to-day business, they didn't care about nothing. So that's all I'm saying is that there's disadvantages and advantages. So.
But if Dee would hire another engineer, that might be more acceptable. I mean, in my opinion, because.
Dee's right here. Why don't you ask him?
I mean,
Instead of talking about him in the third person.
I'm sorry, Dee, I didn't mean to be.
That's okay. I don't know that you're going to find somebody that has more experience than we do regarding tanks. If there's a timeline on this thing, let us know what it is. We'll give you our best shot at when we think we can get it done. If that's not suitable to you, go get somebody else. But we've been inside them, we've inspected them, we've repaired them. We've done a lot of work on tanks. We design them, and we've been the project engineers on tanks that others have designed. And so, tell us what you need, and we'll tell you whether we figure we can get it done.
here's a suggestion, maybe since the initial part's gonna have to be going over these reports
On the fourth.
and making recommendations, maybe we should start with that aspect of it. Because that's gonna be a review and a report on what needs to be done and whether or not we need to replace tanks and all that stuff, and take it as it goes. If we, once we get the report back and we decide what we have to replace, what we have to fix, whatever, then you can make a decision if you feel comfortable with sticking with D, or you feel like it's time to go with somebody else. Because I think a lot of it is just gonna be expertise going over these reports and pictures and photos and recommendations for the tanks.
Well, my idea was not to go with a different engineer, but if you can hire more engineers, and then they would be working with you and for you. I really like our relationship with you, and I was new on the board when we were doing a large project with a big firm, so I know, what happens when a big firm is in, and our projects with you since then have gone much smoother. I just am so concerned because when we were doing the timeline earlier, things are getting away from us, and I just, would like us to, that's my opinion. Do other directors have any opinions?
I'm just wondering if the delays are on Dee's shoulders or on the state's shoulders, because nothing ever gets done fast with the state. We've been dealing with them the last 14 years that I've been on the board, and there is nothing fast about dealing with the state and their money. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll move on to discussion vote on project quotes and bids.
Well,
Did we
I
try to
think,
rethink?
I think I would like to move that we allow Dee to take the book or look at the book on the 4th and see what he thinks.
Well, he doesn't have to look at them on the fourth.
No.
He could have I have digital copies of the report. Too. I could just send them to him.
That maybe he can look at it and have an idea of what needs to be done, and then we can then go from at that point and figure out if he can.
Well, let me say this about that. The work that's going to be done is going to be based on the reports that have been filed, correct, Dee?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the raw data. So then if we send it to you, you will come up with a game plan to correct these failures or problems. And along with that, you'll have a timeline and a cost, okay, just like a proposal, right?
Right.
So we have 2 notebooks here. I don't know how many, it's 3 wells worth of stuff. I mean,
8 tanks.
okay, 8 tanks. How long do you think that would take you to go through? Is that a month's worth of work? 3 weeks out?
And 4 of them are nothing to consider. 4 of the last that we did.
And obviously, I'm not expecting an answer right now, but after you have the books in your possession and are able to review those that's what engineers do. You assess the damage, what it's gonna take to fix them, and come up with a game plan and a price.
That's pretty much what we do.
So if you're interested in getting this information, I don't think it's gonna hurt, and it could help.
Yep, no problem. Just got to get them to us and we'll review them and then we'll tell you what we think.
Johnny says he's got the books in digital form that he could forward to, or the reports in digital form that he could forward to you. So either way, you could have the information.
I'll get them to you early
Tuesday, if not sooner.
Monday when you're here in town, I'll give you a copy of the thumb drives.
Yep, sounds
How does
good.
that sound?
Sounds good.
Are you interested enough in giving us a bid on that?
Am I interested enough to give you a price on it?
Yes,
A
sir.
bit, yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can tell you what we think it'll be from the standpoint of engineering, what would be required. We'll have to look at each one of these separately and what's recommended and give you budget.
Thank you, G.
Okay, I believe there's a motion on the floor, isn't there?
Well, I was just
No?
gonna,
Want me to take it back? Rescind it?
well, I was just gonna move that we allow D to look at this and give us his,
A bid?
Assessment.
his assessment, and then we can then move forward.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Kelling and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye. 4-0, 1 abstention. Motion carried. Discussion vote on project quotes and bids. Well, that can wait, right?
You can't do B or C.
Okay, no B or C. Moving on to 13. Discussion vote on the nitrate analyzer. That's you, right, Johnny?
Yeah, so Ness was here, he's got everything the state wanted and more. I was hoping that we could save money. I emailed Jesse and told him what, all the things that we got going on and everything, hoping to finish this violation sooner, but his response was he still wants D to write up the plan, take all the information out of the manuals, operating manuals, and incorporate it in a plan that had, is all engineered. He wants 4 weeks. We've done 1 week so far, so 3 more Mondays of taking nitrate samples. Part of it is going to be addressed by item, whichever one is the new item for doing the service contract. Some of it is going to
That's A.
pertain to having a service contract. You could just refer to the service contract for the technical side of it, the maintenance and the calibration, all that stuff, because it's highly recommended you have a service contract where they come in and unlimited phone calls to them and everything. But long and the short of it is, D's gonna have to spend time writing up this operating manual to show that the nitrate analyzer, how it's gonna function and what it's gonna do. What it shows on the, you can look at the monitor in here now. It was thought it wouldn't be able to be brought in here now. And an alarm will sound at 8.0 or wherever we set it, 8.0. It will call whoever the operator is on charge. If he doesn't answer, it goes to the next guy and then ultimately it goes to me. Then we could silence that alarm. And if it gets to 9.0, we'll get another same process. Phone calls go out. I'm going to be notified. I'm going to know. At 10.0, it'll shut the well off. Give me time to issue public notices. And then we could run it in auto after that point. When we decide we have to use the water anyway, we just silence the alarms. We could go ahead and run it in auto, which means we don't have to pay overtime for people to manually run it like initially thought. So Ness really did wonders on our telemetry for that. So all of the parameters are met for Jesse that he wanted, with the exception of 3 more Mondays worth of nitrate samples. So Monday will be the second one.
Real time compared to.
Real
whatever it
time
says.
compared to what the nitrate analyzer says. So, which I still argued that all along. Calibration fluid at the nitrate analyzer proves that it's reading correctly. But again, he wants 2 more nitrate samples every month. I mean, every Monday to show that the analyzer is working correctly.
So did we get back the first weeks already?
No, that was done last Monday. I ordered a rush, but it's still, I'll probably get it Monday or Tuesday, the results of that.
Director Schoenberg?
So you talked to him after the discussion on the state update meeting?
Yeah, I sent him an email and I included
Okay.
you and Ron
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. that
And
was
the
an
email stated exactly what I just explained to you guys. I showed pictures.
Yep.
And he still said, yeah, but I
I'm
want you.
sorry, yeah, I didn't see that.
No worries. He said, yeah, I have to work, I want you to work with D to do all that, all the written stuff.
Because he was basically telling us he was trying to assure us that he would take off the,
That's what you're saying. I know,
stuff in August.
but that won't happen until we get, so actually it's gonna be technically, because Monday's almost here, so 2 more weeks after that of Mondays, plus the lead time on the lab turnaround time to get the results.
Won't wait till September.
So it's like 3 3.5 weeks, possibly 4, before we get those results back. So it's just more money. It's ridiculous. But Dee hopefully can work on that. I'll show Dee everything that's going on here. I would imagine Dee's gonna need the manuals from the analyzer so he can incorporate that stuff in his report, so he can, take them with him. And we'll go from there.
Okay, so are we finished with the discussion vote on the service contract?
Nope, that's the next one.
Okay,
That's in the packet.
So the service contract is roughly $1,100 a year, it's annual. And the good thing about this is it warranties, like the biggest part of it is the analyzer itself, $30,000. It warranties all that stuff, it warranties, it pays for the service calls, if anything goes wrong with it, it pays their service maintenance that has to be done, little wipers in there and different things, it pays for that. Anytime I have to do something myself, it pays for unlimited calls to the service center, and they'll walk me through stuff that I can handle myself. And it's just highly recommended with a piece of equipment like this that you just go ahead and go that route. Especially if I could retain employees for any length of time, it would maybe not be as difficult because you can do that stuff yourself. But the learning curve and the information passing when other people leave is just not practical. So I'm recommending you approve it.
And this price is only good for how long?
Well, since it's going to be renewed annually, I guess if they ever decided to increase it, they would have to
11th of August.
They would have to let us know. Oh, you mean how long the quote is?
Yeah, the
Oh,
quote, quote itself.
Yeah.
I have, does that mean, because this is in Loveland, Colorado,
That's where their offices are.
does that mean they got,
Yeah, they got people here too. The guy that came out,
okay.
the guy that came out here and set it up, he came out here from, I don't know, LA or something.
Well, it says
okay.
right here.
Bakersfield, Northern Digital Incorporated.
Corporate court.
Yeah, and this is such a huge company. They have plenty of resources.
Director Schellenberg.
Yeah, I just did the math. It's about just a little under $100 a month. 96.75.
Are you gonna make that a motion?
Director
I
Garcia.
I move that we accept the quotation for the service contract for the nitrate analyzer that we have in front of us.
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Garcia and seconded by Director Kelling. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg, Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson, I 5-0-0. Discussion vote update on the status of the analyzer. Did we already discuss that?
We just already did that. We did it out
Okay.
of order.
So it's installed and it's working and you said we're watching
show
the
you right
results
now,
right
yeah.
there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Discussion vote on hybrid meeting solutions. A discussion vote on purchasing additional equipment, TV, laptop, etc.
So on that, the only progress I made was I did talk to Bill Bice about an additional laptop. He basically went over with me what we would want, minimum requirements for a laptop. He showed me where to go to find the best pricing. So pricing, of course, fluctuates depending on the deals, but we're looking between, I would say safely, it's gonna run between $450 and $550 for the new laptop. And then he said for his work on setting up the laptop after we buy it, he said about $150 to $200 for his time to set up the laptop. Yeah.
It sounds reasonable to me. Director Schellenberg?
I'd like to move that we purchase an additional laptop because that laptop can be used for multiple, or this one can then go into service to be used at the ad hocs without constantly moving the laptop. So I move that we purchase a laptop, but I would also like to add that we purchase another monitor, that we look into the pricing for that. Make it reasonable. It should be HDMI, but it doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be beyond a 1080p monitor. It doesn't have to be anything new and fancy, and that it be at least the size of this monitor, but to be installed in the other side of the room.
Yeah, I just didn't get that for you. I got
I'll
the
second
laptop.
that.
Okay, motion has been made by Director Schoenberg, seconded by Director Nyman. Roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
I abstain.
Gibson, aye. 4-0, 1 abstention. Motion carried.
So if we purchased a laptop, did you want to give me a top,
$550.
up to 550? I mean, is that with tax and shipping, just so I don't go?
I have no knowledge about those things. This was your line of work, right?
Yeah, I would say up to 750.
Okay.
Did the other
I
director?
mean,
do
you-
that?
I accept that friendly amendment.
You'll be prudent and get,
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna
the-
get
you know,
the
look
best
look for the best deal. And the
You're out of
same
the
thing on the
game.
monitor, I would say up to about 500 on the monitor, because you can get some really big, nice monitors that are not anything too, we don't need anything too fancy, so it shouldn't be that expensive.
Okay, B,
But
discussion.
I'm sorry, but we do need the mounting hardware too, so.
Yeah, but that's,
Or you
That's
get a
all.
kit, you get a kit with it.
It's like $20, $50.
yeah, I think it's closer to 100.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh.
I actually take that back, so like 600 on the monitor, including all the mounting.
I accept that friendly amendment.
Did we always do, we already did roll call, so everything was good, right?
We could redo
It
it.
was
Redo it.
Fast
Roll call.
4-0-1. I mean,
I would,
I abstain.
Abstain.
aye. 4-0, 1 abstention.
and then,
You get too much sleep.
I know we didn't vote on it yet, but you're gonna try to look at a drop-down, camera.
Oh,
Once,
some type
once
of-
once we get that stuff, but you know, that, I think, to replace the iPad camera,
Right.
we would still use the.
Next step.
Okay.
Okay, a discussion vote on meeting room setup and installation.
Kind of goes.
We're talking, I know John was talking.
We already-
about the outlet stuff. Because so we don't have ports. That was the next.
Yeah,
next
do we
step.
have any kind of quotes or anything on that?
We haven't
yet?
got him because I wasn't gonna do it until we're gonna proceed with it, but I'm recommending first we could talk to Bill and find out if that's something he wanted to do, but I don't think he's gonna want to run outlets and
I
conduit.
don't think he does.
So I thought about reaching out to Keith Bedard to put it in our phone system because he did such a good job. And he's been in here, Keith, just a side note, 4 or 5 times since then to fix things for me. Never even billed us. He's like, oh yeah, no problem. I mean, he stops in, programs the phone or whatever, it takes no time. He just doesn't even bill us for it. So I would like to at least get a quote from him.
Yeah.
Does
and
he,
then
does
we'll
he
see
do
what he says.
electrical?
Yeah, well, I don't know that for a fact. I do know that he put in all of the Cat 5 outlets and all the cabling and all that stuff. So that's something I'll have to ask him.
That's different, yeah.
But if we need outlets, he'll be the one to tell us, and then I'll find out, I'll get a couple people to quote us, P and J.
Didn't I
somebody else.
recommend an electrician for you? Change a bunch of the plugs and stuff?
Oh, yeah, he came in to did plugs for us, so that guy too, I'd get a quote from him too, for the electrical.
He's good.
Yeah, because I'd like to move forward on getting the quotes, so we don't have all this
Whoa.
wiring.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
It was a problem just the other day when the auditor came in because he wanted to just plug his laptop
And
in
you can't,
and he'd be running a wire across the floor and then we could potentially trip over it.
A lawsuit waiting to happen.
lawsuit waiting now.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're good.
Moving on to 15, discussion, review, vote on the employee handbook. Before we do this one, Can I entertain a motion for a small break?
I make a motion that we, break for 5 minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made by Director Nyman, seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia,
Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg, Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye. Motion carried 5-0-0. Thank you so much.
I forgot to bring my.
Me too.
when we bring the meeting back in order, and I'm sorry, I didn't mention what time we went on break, but we are returning at 8:44. And someone needs to make a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we table the employee handbook until the next regular meeting.
Second that.
Okay, a motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
I,
Director Nyman,
I
Director Schoenberg,
I'm really tired to do this, so I guess
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Director Gibson is a no, so it's 4-1-0, motion carried. Okay, because we're all here.
Yeah, for once.
But I understand, it is late. New business, discussion vote on reforming the project ad hoc committee. Didn't we already do that?
No, we did we didn't have enough directors.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean by reforming?
Well, we just need to add,
The Director Garcia is going to drop off of the committee and Director Nyman is gonna come back on the committee. And so we didn't have enough directors to vote on it last time because we need to abstain.
okay,
so
I'll move
So-
the, oh, do you want to make a
why
motion?
don't you make the motion, Terry?
I can't make them.
Okay, I'll move that we rename the ad hoc committee that was once, the,
No,
No, you
no,
reform
this
it.
is just the project ad hoc. We just didn't have.
oh, the peace personnel.
Oh, we didn't have it on the agenda last time. That's
Oh.
why
I was gonna say,
so
we did
had
that
enough
part of my motion
directors.
last time.
Right, we didn't have it on the agenda, so we couldn't vote on it. We talked about it and basically gave our okays for Director Nyman to be
What do we
there.
call it?
It's just,
Financial committee, right?
no,
No,
the
no,
project.
No,
no,
so the motion
No.
that needs to be made is to,
To add me
you
on.
step down.
Oh,
document.
well, then why should I make it? I'm not.
But
I'm not-
yeah,
I'm-
no, Director Kelling should make it because you were on the committee, but you can vote because you'll no longer be on the committee.
Kinda tricky.
I thought that's what we did last time, but
We
okay.
were going to do it, but it wasn't on the agenda. so we
Wasn't
couldn't do
binding,
it.
we couldn't vote on it.
So who's gonna second it?
Okay, I'll move that we,
I think
Jerry Garcia, Director Garcia is removed from the project ad hoc committee and Director Nyman be put on to the project ad hoc committee with Director Schoenberg.
Gary,
I,
you got a
Second.
second.
oh, I second it.
We're getting loopy.
Okay, a motion has been made by Director Kelling and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
I,
Director Nyman,
Abstain.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson's aye, 3-0, 2 abstentions, motion carried. Review and approve meeting minutes for 6/9/2022 regular meeting.
I'm overwhelmed. I didn't read any of them even though. I should have.
You what?
She didn't
I
read
didn't
any
read
of them.
any of them, so I hope somebody else did.
I did, but I can't make a motion, but I didn't find any mistakes.
I did too, but I didn't bring them with me.
Did you find any mistakes?
Did you
No,
find some mistakes?
No,
Well, they're in our packet.
no, they weren't.
No, only if
there.
you left them in there.
No,
Oh,
that was because from the previous meeting.
Oh,
I
okay.
have them at home on my thing, but I,
Do you want to look at them?
huh?
You want to look at them?
Well, I
Yeah,
can,
just so you can make the motion. Oh, sorry.
No, it wasn't you, it was my knee. My knee almost ate out.
oh, geez, that would be the icing on the
okay.
cake.
you're in good shape.
It wasn't you. It had nothing to do with you or the chair or nothing, it was just my knee.
Okay, I move that we approve the regular meeting minutes for Thursday, June 9th, 2022, with the possibility of amendments and,
I don't know, I don't have any of that.
hold on, I'm gonna try and find it. Of course, I don't. With the possibility of amendments or corrections.
Do you want me to
Oh, wait a
answer?
second, no.
Just say with the wording.
With the verbiage that Tiffany adds. cut and
As
paste.
well as any addition amendments for typos or other errors that we may have caught that need to be corrected.
Someone second it?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
I,
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Gibson. I have to abstain. I wasn't present at that meeting, so it is 3-0 to abstention. And for the special meeting, 6/23/22.
No, 6/14.
for
6/14.
special meeting, June 14th,
No, it's a regular meeting.
it's not a special, it is a special meeting.
I read it wrong.
regular
The
meeting
second-
was
I did the third.
6/14. The special meeting was 6/23.
No, 6/14 was a. 6/9 was a regular meeting, 6/14 was a special.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm wrong.
special meeting minutes for Tuesday, June
Oh,
14th.
we're June, not so much.
I make a motion that we approve these minutes with the possibility of additional amendments or typos or other errors that we may or may not have caught or need to be corrected.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
I,
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye. So 4-0, one abstention, motion carried. Regular state
okay.
planning and project meeting. Oh,
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for Thursday, June 23rd, 2022, with the additional of any amendments for typos or other errors that we may not have caught or that need to be corrected. Carrie?
I'll second that.
motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Abstain.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Oh, okay.
Gibson, aye. Motion carried 3-0, two abstentions. State planning and project meeting, is that the one we're doing?
No.
Public information.
Public information meeting,
So for the Proposition 218 public information meeting minutes for Saturday, June 25th, I make a motion that we approve them with the possibility of an additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may have caught or may need to be corrected.
okay, can I get a second?
Someone needs to second it.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Kelly. Roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Abstain.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
How many of us were there? 4 of us, right? I
Uh-huh.
abstain.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Okay, Director Gibson, aye. Motion carried 3-0, two abstentions. And so now,
Okay, I make a motion that we, what's that?
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the state update meeting minutes for Thursday, July 21st, 2022, with additional amendments for typos or errors that we may or may not have caught or needs to be corrected.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made by Director Nyman and seconded by Director Kelling. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia, abstain.
Mhm.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye, 4-0, 1 abstention. So let's move on to number 18, discussion vote on future agenda items.
We have 4 minutes, so let's wait to make a motion.
There's
We're
nothing.
good.
I'll move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion has been made by Director Kelling and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia,
Right.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson, aye, 5-0-0. We are adjourned at
Did you want those?
8:55.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, one quick piece of information for you. Lawrence already responded in the affirmative for a Zoom or telephone conference with Tom Dodson on the 4th at 9 o'clock.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
Awesome. I
Guys,
don't-
have a good evening.
You
You
too.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Pam, Stan, Joan.
Thank you, everybody.